Hello, friends. Hi, Hakam. So, hope my voice is audible. Let me know. Okay. So, without waiting any further, let's start for today's session. So, this is the agenda for today. So, we'll be looking into the iOS automation, how we can automate iOS, the latest one, iOS 17, how we will automate that using Appium 2.0. We'll be looking into that today. So for that, we look into the prerequisites. What are the prerequisites for the iOS automation? How we can do the machine setup, and how we can inspect the elements for iOS application using APM inspector. We'll write a basic iOS test like we did for Android in the last session, and we'll run the test on iPhone 15 on the iOS 17 version, and then we'll have a live Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can drop those questions in the live chat. So you can drop those questions in the live chat. I'll go through those questions after this session is complete. I'm targeting to complete the session in 1 hour. So let's try to achieve that today. If you are watching this stream after it's published, you can put your questions in the comment section. We'll look into those questions in a separate video. Okay. Just looking. So let's start this session. Just remove myself. So I have created a GitHub organization for the channel, and the code which I have showcased in the previous session, it is available in the repository over here, Appium demo. So do check that out. So first thing we need to do is check the machine setup. So for iOS, you need to have a Mac machine. That is a prerequisite for iOS automation. Apart from that, you need to have Xcode installed. So to install Xcode, you will open App Store. In the App Store, you will search for Xcode. Let's check out how you can do that. Here you can do Xcode. This will show the Xcode application, which is this one. You need to install this application. This is like 12 GB setup. So it will take some time to install. Once this is installed, you need to also install, you will open the Xcode first. So we need to also install Xcode command line too. So let's see how we can install that first. So you can see that Xcode is loading. Here Xcode has been loaded. So for installing the command line tool, you need to go into the Xcode menu and go in the open developer tool, and in that you will click on more developer tools. So this will open a new page from the Appium from the Apple website. You will log in with your credentials. 362. So this will load all the developer tools which you can install on your export. So from here, you need to download the command line tool. So this will be the command line tool for your export. Before that, you need to check the export version. So here you can see it is 15.0. You need to download the version, the corresponding version, 15.0. Here you will download the command line tool for export 15, not the 15.1 because it is still in beta. Okay. So you click on this view details and you'll click on this link to download the DME file. So this will install the command line. So these are the basic installation setup. Now, okay. So now let's quickly check the iOS setup using the Appium Doctor. I'll close the export and the app store that is not required here. So in the terminal, I'll run the command Appium hyphen Doctor and run double hyphen iOS. This will check all the prerequisites which are required for iOS automation if it is set up correctly on your machine. If you have installed the export correctly, all these prerequisites will be shown in green, indicating that it is set up correctly. Now, if you are doing the setup for the first time, after installing export and command line tool, when you run this command from Appium Doctor, you will get some pop-up indicating that some installation is happening in the background. So that is done by Appium Doctor itself. This tool does some kind of small installation in the background. So for that, it will ask you to enter your machine password. So it is not an issue. It is not a problem if you provide the password. It will not save it in internally. It will just install some libraries required for export. So you can see that they have tool security is enabled. So these things it does on its own. In case after installing the export, you still get an error that the export is not installed correctly. It happens sometimes that the export after installing the export, APM doctor still says it cannot find the export. So in that case, you need to make sure that the export path is set correctly. So you can it will automatically indicate the command which it is trying to use. So you can check that command out and update the path accordingly. This path should be application xcode.app/content/table. So this path is required to be set properly. Apart from this, there are some optional dependencies which are also available. So FFmpeg is required for basically creating a video of your test. So this is a feature which allows you to create a video of your test execution. MJPEG consumer is required when you want to do a live stream of your test execution. Like there is some server hosted somewhere, and you want to live stream on that server directly. So it just will have a URL which will connect on the browser, and we will see the tests running. So that is for live streaming of your test. Let me know in the comments if you in the chat if you want to see this example of creating a video and live streaming your test in future videos. So I'll create some future videos or maybe plan a session for this. Apart from that, there is also an IDB companion. This is also optional. If you want, you can install it or you can skip it. One thing is important here. You need to install Apple Sim Utils. That is very critical because most of the times you will be running your sample tests on a simulator. So to interact with the simulator, you need to have Apple Sim Utils installed. iOS deploy is basically required to install the application, as you can see here. in the description, is used to fallback command to install iOS application on real device. So it is required for a real device automation. So these are some things we need to make sure. Apart from this, there is one more thing which we need is Carthage. I think Carthage is now skip time. I'm not sure, but earlier it used to have Carthage in the mandatory thing. If you don't install Carthage and Appium still requires it, it will indicate it. Otherwise, you can also install it by using brew install Carthage. By executing this command, you can install Carthage. But I would suggest don't install it right away. Let Appium doctor suggest it that it is required. Then only install. So ideally, this is the basic setup which is required. So once you have done this basic setup, your machine is ready to automate iOS application. Now the next step is to have an iOS application to automate. So for that, we'll again go to the native demo app example from WebDriver IO, and we'll go in the release tab, and this time we'll download the .app.zip file. So let me check in the comments if there is any critical points you want to highlight. Then if not, okay, let's continue. So I have downloaded the application. Now in the APM inspector, I'll open the APM inspector over here, and I'll select iOS setting which I have already created. So let's understand this capabilities first. What capabilities I have provided. So for iOS, we are given platform name, which we will provide as iOS, and here we'll give platform version, which is 17.0. So this is this dot zero is required. If you remove dot zero, the APM will give you an error saying it cannot find it. But in the error, it will give all the available versions of iOS which is installed on your machine. So it will indicate that you need to give 17.0. I would suggest don't skip the dot zero part. Give 17.0. And the device name. So in iOS, this device name is used by Appium, but in Android, it is just required for the sake of capability. It is not used anywhere. But in iOS, it is used to identify the simulator. So in the simulator, there are like multiple pre-installed simulators which are there, and to identify on which iPhone, on which device you want to execute your tests, you need to provide the device name, and this device name should match with the name of the simulator. Automation name. So here we need to have XUI test automation name. For this, we need to have the driver installed. So let's check whether we have the driver installed. So if you remember, for driver, we will be using Appium driver list. This will list all the available drivers. So how to install Appium command line? For that, we can check our last session where I have shown you how to install the Appium library, and all the basic setups are also shown in that last session. So you can go through that recording and see how you can do that. So here you can see there are a list of drivers which are supported by Appium. So for iOS, we'll be using XUI test, which is already installed on the machine. If you want to know like how to install it, the command is Appium driver install XUI test. So this way it will install the XUI driver. And in my case, it is already installed. So I just need to check whether there is any update available. So for that, I'll be using update. So instead of install, it will be like Appium driver update XUI test. So this will check if there is any new releases which is available for XUI test driver. And if it is available, it will install it for us. Otherwise, it will simply say there is no update available. Okay, like this. Now, the next step is we need to start the driver. start the Appium server sessions. For that, you need to have the command Appium server. This is the same command which we used last time in the last session. So in the last session, we used UI Automator 2 for Android. In this session, we are using XCUI test. This will start the APM server, and we'll be using this instance to connect our APM inspector. So here APM inspector, we already have default values set. Now I'll select the application which I've just downloaded. So I'll just select browse the application over here. In the downloads, I'll just simply go and select the app.zip file which I have downloaded. I'll save, and I have already opened the API. I have already opened the iPhone 15 simulator. So normally, if it is not opened, when you start the session, it will automatically open it for you. So you don't need to worry. But in that case, it will take some time to load the simulator. Normally, iPhone simulator takes a little bit of time. With this latest version, at least it takes some time to load. But in the older versions, it was much faster. So let's start the session. I just resize this window so that we can see both of things together. Start a session. You can see in the terminal is APM inspector is connected to this APM server instance. Now, the simulator will install the application and it will launch it for us. Let's wait till this launch. In the meantime, let's check out any comments if there is any. My voice is getting low. Let me mic. Hope this time it is much better because it will not become low. So is my voice fine now? Let me know. Okay, let's continue. Session is launched now. So now you can see the application has launched. Let's refresh this inspector once. Now we can see the elements. When you click on the element, you can see the locator here. Accessibility ID, iOS class chain, predicate string. All these locators are automatically identified for us. So we can we can find the elements by clicking on it, and you can even emulate a tab. Click on that. You click on the element. Let us click on the element, and now we can just refresh the page again. And you can inspect the element like you normally do. Email ID, password, and there is a tab button. So here you can see that accessibility ID is not set. So in that case, it is automatically creating a predicate string or iOS class chain. locator strategy. So you can use either of the two. I would not recommend you use Xpath. I would suggest don't use Xpath for mobile automation, whether it is Android or iOS. Avoid using Xpath. This will make your test very brittle. So you can see the predicate string is like normally you would query any database like a where condition in the SQL. It is very similar to that. So like attribute double equals something like the value, and you can combine with the multiple and condition or condition begins with a different thing. You click on these links to check out their documentation how you can use this locator strategy. Let's see. Now let's go to our project and create new classes for iOS. So for this, I'll create a new package for Android and iOS. So that way we can structure the code according to the platform. So I'll click on the package and I'll create a new package. Android. If I can Android and another package for iOS. So the sign up pages which we have created earlier, it is for Android. We'll simply drag and drop it to the Android package. And in the test folder, I'll create again two packages for Android and iOS. Android and again a new package for iOS. I'll keep the test very simple. I'll just move the Android test to the Android package. We'll click on refactor. So this way we are uh, keeping our code base clean. Now in the iOS, I'll create a similar name, a similar class, sign up page. We'll automate the same flow. Sign up page. We don't need to edit now. We'll edit later. So in the iOS, we'll be using private iOS driver, the driver, and here also we'll be using the driver weight, the driver weight. And this time I create a constructor first. Let's create a constructor. Sign up page. We'll take iOS driver. And we'll assign this to the field driver, driver, and weight. So new driver weight. Pass the driver. And we'll give the duration of seconds, 10 seconds. Save it. And use the static reports. And mostly, if you see our previous class, we have not used the driver explicitly. We have used the weight. Let's remove the filter driver from here. So let's now add the locators of the page. So I'll open the sign up page. Go to sign up. and I'll just refresh the page in the inspector. So first we need to inspect this tab. Uh, so this login tab, we need to first click on the login, web view, login. Login it is not visible, but in iOS there is one trick which I would show you. So in iOS you can simply use the name capability as an ID. Click, copy this, go in the search for element, and in the ID space the name and search it. You can find the element name. So there are like three elements which are shown. Mostly those are like one. This is the tab, and the another one is the another this tab. So if you want, you can use the ID, or you can simply use this predicate string which is shown here. That way also it is easy to use. I'll copy this and the code. I'll private by login tab to import by. Here if we will be using Appium by dot iOS ns predicate string. Then this I'll paste the predicate string, and we can use static import here. Static import. Now next element we have is the sign up page, sign up tab. I click on that, and again we'll copy the predicate private by sign up tab equals to predicate string. Next is the email field. Here we have the accessibility ID. If you know that accessibility ID is same for both Android and iOS for this element, so you can simply copy that private email ID, email ID, accessibility ID, and paste it here. Same for password. Password private by password field equals to accessibility ID and confirm password. Here also we use private by confirm password equals to accessibility ID and the sign up. So here we can simply use the label sign up, or we can also check out the element in the XML tree. So here you can see the element is wrapped inside another element. So you can click on this element, or this one is button sign up, which will indicate that it is a button. We'll copy this, and in the code we'll create a field private by sign up button to accessibility ID. So now all the elements which is required, it is available with us. Now we'll create a method public. We need to return the message of the pop-up. So here we'll handle the pop-up and we'll return the message. We'll do we call this method do sign up, which take two parameters, string username and string password. Now, by using the wait, we'll use wait dot until using expected conditions dot element to be clickable. We use element to be clickable by operator, and here we'll give email ID, and then dot using send keys. Send keys username. We'll import this static import. For entering the username, we need to click on the login tab. So let's first create the element to be clickable login tab. Then we need to click on the sign up tab. Wait dot until element to be clickable. Sign up tab. Dot click. Then we'll enter the email ID. Then we'll enter the password. Password field. Dot send keys. Wait dot until element to be clickable. Confirm password. Dot send keys. Same password. Then we'll click on the sign up button. Wait dot until element to be clickable. Sign up button. Click. Now with iOS, it will give a native pop-up. In the iOS, you can handle the alerts like you normally handle alert for web applications. Where message equals to will do wait dot until alert alert is present. Okay. So this way it will automatically wait for the alert and it will give the message. Here we can do like get text. Let's first save the alert. Alert. Now with alert, we first save the message. Message equals to alert dot get text, and then alert dot accept. We'll accept the alert, and then we'll return the string message. It is straightforward. Now for the test, we need to create the test. So let's do that. For that, I'll be using the application. I'll copy the application over here in the resources folder. So I'll go into downloads, copy the application, come to the resource tab, save it, paste it. So here I can rename this to WDIO demo. WDIO hyphen demo. And then save it. I need to add it now. Now in iOS package, I'll right click and create a new test, WDIO demo test. And press enter. Here again, I'll create a before class and we'll call this method as public void class. And here I'll be using options which will be equals to new XCUI test options. We use these options, but we need to provide the app, and the app we will just copy what we have used in the Android. Use the same logic. Copy, paste. Here instead of the APK, we'll be using app.c. We'll be passing the zip file directly. And then what we need to do, we can set a device name. Device name iPhone. And what else we need to give? I think this is pretty much it. You don't need to give anything else. Now we need to initialize the driver. So let's create an instance. Private iOS driver. Driver. Here driver equals to new iOS driver. And we'll be passing new URL like we did. URL. And we'll pass the same URL like we did last time. Copy, paste. And we'll pass the option. So that's we initialize the driver who will set the implicitly wait and set it to 1 second. Also, after initializing, we'll, after setting the implicit wait, we'll make it 1 second. We don't need to give more time in the implicit wait because we are mostly using the explicit waits. For this, I'll just add an exception to method signature. Now, let's create another method. You can simply copy paste it from the previous class to save some time. And we can also copy the test simply. So here we don't need to use Android sign up page. We will remove this Android. Do Alt Enter. For iOS, we'll select the iOS text. Here instead of sign up, we'll using do sign up. So that's all we do. Now to run the test, we'll first stop the session. And the simulator. In the test, I'll just simply click on the run button to run the test. Run. I'll open the simulator. Let's see. You can confirm with the this console whether the test is connecting to the server or not properly. Let's see if this test is getting triggered. Checking the terminal. Let's see that. So you can see that our test is connected to the Appium server. Now in the test, let's see the If you are not following along and if you have any doubt, you can put it in the chat. Let's check out the questions which you have after the question gets complete. So application is getting launched. So you should click on the login button. It failed. Let's check out why. Waiting for element to be clickable. Login. So for some reason, this login button is not clickable. Let's wait for the element to be visibility of element. So let's quickly execute it. By the way, don't forget to like the video. It will not take much time. Just smash that like button. With the latest iOS site, it's slow, it's on slow side. The automation is slow. Application is also taking some time to install. It's in the try to establish connection with the WebDriver agent, which is installed on the simulator. So normally it takes some time to respond. That's why it's taking some time. If it takes too much time, we can even stop the test execute and restart the server. That way it will be like a little bit faster. Let's restart the server. And for side, let's uninstall this. The simulator has hang. Okay. Let's restart the simulator. These are some glitches which is like new to this iOS 17. iOS 16 was much better. Let's wait till this simulator gets restarted. Still loading. Let's close this. Hello, hello. Now is it audible? Not sure what happening on my machine. Hello, hello. I can see the audio now. So can you guys know? Let me know like till where you heard my audio. For some reason, my mic is causing some issue. Maybe I need to have a new mic in the next session. Let me know what last you heard. So I was going through the comments. Unable to launch WebDriver agent. So if can, can you try the steps which I showed you in this video? Maybe if you still face any issues, so then we can connect it separately. You are using Ventura 13.5. Mac OS Ventura 13.5.2. I export 15. Can you upgrade your Mac OS and see? I think export 15 is for iOS 17, right? So your export is not compatible with your Mac OS. So try upgrading to Sonoma, macOS Sonoma, and see, because I have the macOS latest one. So let's about this Mac. So you can see it is Sonoma 14.0. So try upgrading that and see if it is still working for you. It is launched. This iOS is causing too much problem. Not launching properly. Still loading. So before I got disconnected, what I was talking last year. Let me chat so that I can repeat. So I'll be pushing this code on the GitHub repository. You can check this out later, and you can try to execute this on your machine and see if it works. So you can also provide the platform version. I think I forgot to give the platform version. Here we can give the version as 17.0. This iOS simulator is not functioning properly with the latest version. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's causing too much issue. It is not even restarting. Let's reset everything. For the sake of time, let me know if do you want to have such again. Take one session or video and post it as a complete video, working video. So that will be much better. Am I audible now? So this iOS simulator is causing too much problem. It is not starting. It is taking too much of time. So for the sake of everybody's time, let's end this stream down. I'll be pushing the code in the repository. You can download, clone the repository on your machine and run the iOS test and check out. Maybe we can. I'll post a separate complete video, working video for this iOS automation end to end. So that way, it will be easier for you to follow along, and there won't be any glitches like we had in this live stream. So that way, it will be much easier for you to follow along. So I'll create a complete video and I'll post it as a separate video without wasting anybody's time. You can follow along whenever you want to. And if you're not subscribed, you can subscribe the channel so that you don't miss out the videos which I will post in this channel. My network is also fake, so let's end this stream now. Let me know your feedbacks and comments in the. Let me know your feedbacks in the comment section or in the chat. Let's end. So I'll plan some other topic in the stream, and I'll let everybody know on my LinkedIn. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.